I don't have to cheat, I just read the entire thing off the paper. So recently, I had to subtract one 3-digit number from another 3-digit number. I'm on a diet and counting calories. I needed to know how far I have to walk to burn off the Krispy Kreme donut. Okay, the 2 Krispy Kreme donuts I'd eaten. It turns out it's impressively far. Forrest Gump on a jog far. I'd have to lay over in Memphis, then do the other half. And although my brain was conveniently located atop my shoulders, and I even had pen and paper close at hand, I went in search of a calculator. Keep in mind that Einstein postulated complex mathematical equations on a blackboard using chalk, the same system used at Cracker Barrel to announce their lunch specials. Theory of relativity on one, the word macaroni misspelled on the other. By the way, can you imagine the possibilities for error in that system? I mean, maybe there was some great scientist working on his blackboard coming up with the equation needed for time travel. Maybe he accidentally erased a number with his unruly beard, and instead of being able to go back in time and kill Hitler, we got the clapper. Yet despite the thousands of generations of evolution it took to get me here, a semi-upright, mostly civilized human being of the 21st century, I still only have enough of a working knowledge of numbers to play Yahtzee. Except when it comes to money, then I'm like Rain Man. I can look at an item like Kohl's and factor in discounts, taxes, and credit card interest in less time than it takes the sales girl to roll her eyes when I hand her the wrapper for the candy I ate in the dressing room. I think they should teach math in schools that way, in a mall with cash registers instead of calculators, because I believe when someone teaches a child using Common Core, the terrorists win. So despite all my difficulties with numbers, I felt like Stephen Hawking when confronted with the checkout clerk at Walgreens. I had found a penny to go with the dollar I handed him for my 96-cent purchase. The look of terror and confusion on his face could not have been less if, instead of a penny, I had produced a sword. I went home thinking it's really not his fault. Technology is making our brains idle and useless, like Kardashians. I mean, I used to know how to do simple equations, even though I spent the entire 3rd grade learning long division. I remember completing many of the problems before I got bored and began drawing bow ties and hats on the numbers. So I made a plan to go an entire week without using any of the technology I did not have access to when I was a kid in school. I felt like I would need things for this, like pencils and Tylenol. But how to buy them without using my debit card? I rooted through a lot of old purses until I found a check with an address from a place I hadn't lived for a decade, scraped some melted chocolate off of it, and took it to the bank. I skipped the drive-up and ATM and walked into the actual inside, where they still make you walk back and forth through a roped-off queue line, like a lima bean traveling through a small intestine. Then I took my cash to the grocery store, longingly eyeing the deserted self-checkout scanners while waiting behind an old woman who sent the bad boy to check the price of her rutabaga. I remember being more patient before technology, too. The old me would never have even considered doing what I did next. I told her that she shouldn't buy it. I heard there was a rutabaga recall, something to do with spider eggs. She hesitated, so I doubled down on my story and told her spider eggs that carried leprosy. She left without the produce, and I paid for my pencils, donuts, and a Sudoku puzzle book because I saw it had numbers on the cover. I covered the digital clocks and vowed to study my analog clock until I didn't have to tell someone the time by saying, "In 3 minutes, it will be 20 to 6. I turned off the television as soon as I realized I would have to leave my recliner chair and walk all the way across the living room to change the channel. I ate a donut and opened the puzzle book. Not since I rode the Hulk roller coaster at Universal Studios have I seen such evil disguised as fun. Only math teachers and masochists, and I use those terms interchangeably, would find something like this fun. I cried and I ate another donut. But even that was not what cut short my experiment into the past faster than Bruce Jenner's honeymoon. No, it was the theme music from Doctor Who coming from my purse. I was getting a call on my cell phone. I defy any human or age not to glance at their phone when it rings. If you're parachuting over a lake of crocodiles and the phone in your pocket rings, you're going to actually consider, no matter how briefly, answering it, despite the danger of having your genitals chewed off. Smartphones are called that for a reason. They are better than you at nearly everything. They know the time. They'll let you send mail to someone while you're waiting in line for a rutabaga price check. You can look at Facebook to see if there are any most interesting man memes you haven't seen yet. And you can even play Yahtzee with people from far-off exotic places like Thailand or Wichita. You don't really have to know anything at all. Your phone already knows it better and faster than you. I love my phone and the technology it represents, and I never want to be without it because you know what? My phone also has a calculator. Kathleen Cosgrove.